Works for me.
Works for me.
All right, do we have people back in yet, or?
No, not yet.
It's gonna take a second.
Yeah, it's gonna take a second. Jasa!
Hello.
Jasa! Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. If you're just now tuning into Woke Wednesdays, we've been setting up a platform, setting up a foundation for tonight's conversation, and at the end, we're really started getting into it. So thank you so much for tuning back in. What's up, girl? What's going on? Are you still in Miami? Come by, check us out in North Carolina. So who are you?
Peter Butterfield, a childhood friend of this man here.
We have Jay saying she's saying that she's learning so much. That's awesome. I love hearing
excellent. That's exactly what we need. I like to hear. I know it's what he likes to hear.
That's definitely the point of what Jason's been a guest on Woke Wednesdays before, so she knows what it is. Such a smart, beautiful person. So tonight we're talking about net neutrality.
Yep.
And we were getting into the political consequences of net neutrality. Mm-hmm. So let's get it popping from there.
Okay. So let's think of it like this. So as we mentioned, there's a direct example of this. It's a Canadian example, but it matters because it's still a telecom. And there was a company called TELUS that when they found that their workers were planning a labor strike using this one website, they blocked access to the website. Okay? This is a direct method for a corporation to block political speech. It shows that they're willing to do that. They're willing to block, censor, and remove speech that they don't want. That doesn't positively affect their bottom line. This is a problem for you because most of the organization that people do these days politically involves the internet because it is the most effective way to reach people.
You said Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter use the internet. Use Twitter specifically. You had use Twitter. You had the Arab Spring, which was a multinational sort of uprising in a
the
bunch
Women's
of
March.
The Women's March.
The Women's March that was huge this year. 2017 was a bad year.
2017 was the Batman v Superman of years.
Wow, that's disrespectful. But you're right. But the Women's March we communicated through internet to get in contact with people and letting them know, hey, we're marching here this day. Any type of protest that happened in this country this year most likely used the internet.
Can you turn the camera around? Where to?
To make it vertically, no. We stopped doing that a while. Yeah, it's just because no.
There's a bit too much of me and a bit too little of him for that to work.
That's a fun way of saying it. Yeah. Don't worry, you'll get used to it. Tune into a lot more Woke Wednesdays. We do this all the time. But yes, politically, this is extremely important. Extremely important. The Diamond Butterfly, feel free to be a guest on the show. You'll get it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Also, which person is that? What's her name? Andrea. So you said Big Brother is watching. Not quite. Big Brother is the government in 1984. This isn't the government. This is corporations. This is a different group. An additional filter to your speech.
Not just that cousin that you don't want him to come to family barbecue.
Sure, that makes sense. But it's not just the government censoring your speech there. Without these protections, without these regulations, corporations are also given the ability to do so more than they were before. Now, so what do we do? What do we do from here? Because
there's no hope. There's no hope whatsoever.
There is. Because see, these changes don't go in effect, first of all, until they get published on the Federal Register early next year.
And they're saying the corporations and politicians, the same thing to me.
They are the powerful, but their interests don't necessarily align. That's
Not
the key. So if they all have the same vision...
She's throwing out language out here. She said controlling the communication of the proletariat.
Yeah, agreed. They both are attempting to control the proletariat. We're both dealing with a bourgeois, attack on the pro and working. Agreed. But
Nacho saying the U.S. is a corporate oligarchy, so corporations are essentially our governments.
I would not inherently disagree, but corporations are not a monolith. they all don't have the same desires. And I'm going to put that to you in a very stark way. Because no matter which side of this net neutrality issue happens, whether or not we're able to get this repeal reversed or the repeal stays, some corporations are going to make bank off of it. Either way. So let's put it this way. If net neutrality stays repealed, Comcast, Charter, Time Warner, Spectrum, these companies, level 3, these companies are going to make a lot of money because they're going to be able to influence the communication, they're going to be able to influence speech in a way they weren't before, and direct you to their services. And they don't want you to use cheaper competitors. They're going to direct you to their services. They're going to make a lot of money off this. By that same token, if net neutrality is enforced, things like Netflix, things like Vonage, things like Uber, these companies are going to make more money because there's less hurdles for them to access you. No matter which side of this divide we end up on, it's going to benefit a corporation. But the things that benefit one corporation don't necessarily benefit the other. Even though they're all trying to control and oppress us, and I would agree with that, what actually benefits them is slightly different depending on the issue. Does that make sense? Was I able to communicate that clearly?
Yeah, it's a tough thing you're tackling right now.
But what can we do? We need to put pressure on the few wheels of the government we have access to. So this is one of the things that you need to call your representatives. If this is an issue that's important to you, Congress can overrule the FCC. They can pass a law that supersedes the FCC's abilities. That's something that can happen, that can be done. And there's a movement for that. There's a website that'll help you find out which of your representatives, what their numbers are, how to contact them. It's called battleforthenet.com.
Oh, say that again, please.
Battleforthenet.com.
I'm going to type this in battle. Number 4, actually spell out 4.
4, F-O-R.
4.
The net. .com. Mm-hmm.
And then I said, thank you so much, Peter.
No problem.
She said, I'm waiting for the day when Ileana Rod, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
Who's that person? Ileana Rod Lathan? Finally retires?
Mm-hmm.
I know her.
I don't know her name directly.
Ross
Lathan. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get that name directly out here. Is she a commissioner of some type?
Is she a commissioner of some type? We have the internet for now. So we're checking this. Yeah.
Oh, she's your representative from Florida. Got it. Yeah.
I should probably know that name.
I don't know the names of all the representatives because, quite frankly, I don't even know all the representatives from North Carolina, and one of them's last name, is a Butterfield.
Well, again, that gets back to the issue that this is hard.
It's hard. There's a lot to keep track of. So, yeah. So go to battleforthenet.com, look up your representatives, look up for other representatives from your state, call them.
Now, what is calling actually? I don't think that shit doesn't work.
Well, so it's not a foolproof tool. Understand that our actual ability to to actually steer the course of government is very limited. But we need to apply pressure the way we can. Calling your representative does a few things. So most of the time, people don't call over anything. Okay? A representative's main job is to get reelected. They need money to get reelected because that makes them more money to stay elected. They want to stay in office as long as possible. Calling them says, hey, this is a vote you will have if you follow through with this. It puts pressure on them. It gives them an idea of what their constituency wants. It's not a perfect method by any means influence. But if you don't call them, because these representatives, some of them are just greedy oligarchs. Some of them are well-meaning. Not all. Definitely not all. But are well-meaning and don't honestly know. Understand the age gap here. Most representatives are old.
That shit, yeah.
The most, and net neutrality doesn't really seem that relevant if the only thing you use the internets for is when you want to watch that movie on the TV and it breaks whenever you can't find the Internet Explorer icon. There's a whole age group that just doesn't use or communicate that way.
They do. A lot of us do. So okay. So let's draw some final points here.
Yeah. One more.
Go ahead.
On top of calling your representative, call your attorney general. They are the head, like essentially the head attorney for your state. Because there is a coalition of them who are suing the FCC to get this overturned. There's a few constitutional grounds that are going on with this. But call your attorney general. Like, call their office, leave a message, say, hey, you want my vote next election cycle? Get on this. Sue the FCC. You want to guarantee my vote? This is the first step you need to take.
People are saying Internet Explorer will be our only option.
Oh, yeah. It'll... Yeah, if we're lucky.
I was going to say Sandbox might be our only option. That's going to be the meetup spot. Yo, meet up at the Sandbox at 8 o'clock. Hey. But one thing that, in a way, you're kind of implying that we're all politicians.
Well,
in the sense that you have the power, you know people, and not like people, I don't mean like important people. I mean, you might know important people.
I mean...
Everyone's important. Okay.
The human is a political animal. Yes. Everything we do revolves around society and influencing the way the society around us acts.
I was going to say those exact words, but you took them out of my mouth, so I was unable to say them. I just learned those in English class last week.
Okay.
But you messed me up.
Hey, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
You fucked me up a little bit. All right, but we're not going to get into that. But yes, no, absolutely. So yes, go ahead. Because clearly you want to say something.
Well, we all have to kind of take ownership over the politics of our nation. Because they only have power when we're not looking and we're not engaged. The people who want to control you do so because they can push out too much stuff for you to pay attention to. Yeah. Well, if you're politically motivated and activated and trying to make change, you can help stop that from happening. And this, net neutrality, is something that allows you to have better access to the information you need to be politically active. That's why this is so important. This is how you restock your ammo. This is how you find the information about what's important. This is how you organize. And you need to make the calls. You need to put pressure on your politicians to make this change happen. To make sure that net neutrality is kept sacred. That we maintain Title II protections on the internet. Because when we no longer have control over our own voice or our own information, we lose the ability to really know anything. We lose our access to what's real in this country.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely
it's a big deal. This is very important, and I urge each and every one of you, please call your representative at least once. At least call them, leave a message. Just put that information out there that this is something that's important to you. Talk to your friends. Say, hey, call this number for me. All right? Just say, hey, net neutrality is important to me. Just do what you can to organize and make this change happen. This is something that's important. It's going to affect us for a lifetime, if not longer, if we don't stop it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think these are some great final words. If you had to say something, I mean, you've said so much tonight that I think is completely insightful. It's important. This is serious. But if you had to say some departing words, what do you think, man? And as it relates to this idea of wokeness.
Well, I'm gonna quote your friend here because I think she actually summed it very well. Politicians should fear the people, not the other way around. Strike fear in them. Show politicians you're politically activated, that you're politically motivated. Show them you're paying attention, and that you're not going to be tricked. That you're not going to be taken by the wayside.
Yeah.
Put that pressure on them.
Absolutely.
This is how you act. This is how you make change in a nation politically, and through changing our laws, you help change culture.
And this shit is not easy.
Oh gosh, no.
This is not easy.
No. This is not something that is going to just. This is not a fight that will be won overnight. This is a fight. This is a struggle. This is something we're going to have to work for.
Because I do hate when politicians... Obama said, I remember his last speech, he said, don't boo, vote.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but it's not that easy, right? Like, things are not easy, and part of this.
What things of value are easy to get?
No, exactly. But I'm saying part of this millennial culture is the idea of things being microwavable, right? I mean, you don't have to agree. That's the argument.
Well, so it's not that I disagree. It's that I think that's more symptomatic than it is a failing.
I'm not disagreeing with it being symptomatic, but it's still a reality.
Oh, agreed.
Right.
Yeah,
So the point is that we need to get away from the white microwave sometimes, right? And we need to. This is a fight. This is a struggle. Absolutely. Calling. We won't see change overnight.
But you need to call, go to battleforthenet.com, find out who your representatives are, call your attorney general. You can, for now, you can find out who they are online.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is a great resource, actually.
Yeah.
Like, for this sort of thing. Like, so find out who they are. Call them, put pressure, talk to your friends, spread the word, get them to do the same.
Yeah, I'll post the website tomorrow on Woke Wednesdays so y'all can check it out. But, yeah. Good.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, like... because I feel like we're coming to a bit of a close here.
Yeah.
I just want to say before, like, I kept going a little bit. If anyone had like any direct questions that that maybe I didn't go over something well enough that they might want some clarification on, and I'll answer as best I can and try as best I can to ameliorate any problems that might have been in my delivery. If not.
Yeah. If no one has any questions, you also have a Facebook account.
I do. I'm not terribly active on it, but it's just Peter Butterfield. You'll see this beautiful face smiling at you, so I'm pretty easy to find. There's not that many Peter Butterfields out there, but I'm friends with him.
Yeah, definitely friends with me. If you have me on Facebook, you can definitely find him through me. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't see any questions coming up.
Okay.
But thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Tonight was an episode that I wish more people would understand. Mario saying, call your local legislators and demand that I be considered as a future Woke Wednesdays guest. I can't with you. He said, Andres and Peter Parker. What you mean?
Just call me Spider-Man.
You're Spider-Man?
I mean...
Andrea's a big Marvel person. I should introduce y'all.
Alright.
Andrea's a great person. You gotta come to Miami. Or Andrea, come to North Carolina. What's going on, girl?
Either way. I do need to go to Miami one of these days.
Phenomenal salsa dancer. Phenomenal.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Woke Wednesday's guest before. Yeah, so y'all have that in common. But yeah, man, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Tonight's episode was extremely insightful, full of knowledge, as they usually are.
I had like 6 pages of notes for this thing.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, you're just brilliant. Thank you so much for being a guest tonight.
Thank you for having me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Andrea's asking if she needs a white face to come to North Carolina.
No. I would recommend staying to the cities, though, quite frankly.
Yeah, you don't want to go to where my mom
I mean, it's kind of like you don't want to go to North Florida.
Yeah.
It's
Ocala.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Archdale to your
stick to the cities. Once you step outside of a city in North Carolina, you're gonna hear people talking like this, and that's not a good place to be.
But I mean, don't get twisted. It also happens in the city too. Don't get it twisted. Because I mean, KKK was marching through Greensboro. I mean, months ago. I mean, the Klan. Yeah, we're familiar with.
They're outside the city limits, actually. Thankfully.
Yeah, she's saying I don't need to be burned at the stake.
No, you'll be good.
But the Klan comes to Greensboro, though. Don't get it twisted. The Klan is definitely in Greensboro.
I mean, there's a reason that, the war sit-in happened here. There's a reason that look up the Greensboro massacre, by the way.
Yeah, only 30 years ago.
30 years ago,
the Klan massacred people in Greensboro.
They actually massacred a bunch of essentially communist sympathizers.
Yeah,
it was a very freaky thing.
And Greensboro is the third biggest city in North Carolina, and the Klan is still marching through here. A couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's not so they don't really march through the city. They're kind of kept out.
A couple years ago,
the
newspaper.
Yep.
The newspaper, the Greensboro News and Record. This is our big newspaper. Said, if you are Black, Latino, or Jewish, and gay, stay away from these streets.
Yep.
Because the Klan was having a march in our city.
Yep.
Yeah, Greensboro, yes. It's crazy. Pockets full of sunshine saying, yeah, they'd come to the free speech zone. Ought to be black. You went to UCF, US. Oh, they're talking. There. But yeah, Greensboro. Don't get it twisted. Greensboro still get it popping. Yeah. And then there are so many suburbs like Summerfield, Archdale, High Point, Ashboro. The Klan is very much out there. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
It exists. It's not something you're. It's like
we're in the South.
We're in the South.
Bible Belt. South.
I've met people with the symbol on their shirt. Like,
yeah,
it's scary as shit.
Yeah. Jason said, and you're trying to have people visit. I'm confused. I'm sorry, but come to the city. Now, the city is not a bad place.
Yeah, the cities you're not going to encounter that shit really.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not going to be as explicit. You'll get some implicit racism, so of course.
You stick downtown, you're fine too. Like, downtown, like where I live, is it's all colleges.
They might sit you in the back of a restaurant. I mean, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I mean, I've had it happen multiple times.
Really?
Oh, what? Of course, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and I was like, but there's seats up front. Yeah, but there's also seats in the back. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. This is stick to I-95 as long as you can. It's the South. I mean, it's a thing. Unfortunately, we grew up like this, right? This is something that you just kind of get used to.
It becomes background noise.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, wow. Yeah, absolutely. It's just something to get used to. But everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you so much, brother.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Y'all already know the show's going to be on YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. So, hey, man. And the next thing, I grew up with Republican white Cubans. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty horrible. Yeah. All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week.
Y'all have a good. I'll see y'all next time.
That's so Southern.
I'm Southern.
Yes. See you next time.